Good morning, everybody. Today we will discuss the topic the coelome. Coelome, it is for first years by BC. The unit number 2 is the topic structural organization. On that topic, we will discuss today the coelome. What is the coelome? The definition of the coelome: the body wall and internal side visceral organs in between the fluid filled substances is calling as a coelome, or body cavity when it is formed by the mesodermal layer during embryonic stage is calling as a coelome. External side is calling ectoderm, internal side is calling as endoderm. In between the mesodermal layer is forming. The mesodermal layer, small cavity-like structure, or that is called blastocoel. The space, or that is called body cavity, we are considering as a coelome. The scientist name is the Haeckel scientist proposed. The name is calling as a coelome. This is the coelome. It is the fluid-filled substances between the body wall and visceral organ is calling as a coelome. Based on the coelome, we are differentiated various types. For example, acoelomatic bilaterian organisms and pseudo-coelomatic bilaterian organisms and eucoelomatic bilaterian organisms. So, before going to this, the coelome is the external side is calling as ectodermal side. It is calling, we are considering body wall. Inner side here it is calling as a endodermal layer, or it is considering as a visceral organs. Visceral means internal organs are forming here. In between the coelome is forming. If the coelome is forming here, in between is calling as a coelome. Now, coming to the point, acoelomatic organisms or acoelomate bilaterians. For example, here it is calling as a ectodermal layer, and internal side is here it is calling as a endodermal layer. Ectoderm and endoderm, in between space cavity is present, body cavity, that is calling as a mesenchymal layer. So instead of the here mesodermal layer, small mesenchymal layer is forming, that is calling as a, we are considering blastocoel. So this is calling as a acoelomatic organisms. Acoelom means absence of the coelome. Here it is calling as a acoelomatic organisms. So here solid body plan is forming. For example, this is the ectodermal layer. Here it is calling an endodermal layer. In between the space is present, that is calling as a solid body plan. Solid body plan. Based on the solid body plan, visceral organs are absent here. That's why they can't move. The muscular system is not much more well developed into the acoelomatic organisms. They are not moving. They are moving with the help of small, what is that? Here, mesenchymal layer. So, this is calling as the acoelomatic organisms. Here, mesenchymal layer is forming. Here, it is not moving from one place to another place. So they don't have a visceral organs. Right? So, best example here, platyhelminthes. Flat-like structures of body is formed here. That's why it is called platyhelminthes. It is non-chordates or lower vertebrates. Now, next point is the pseudo-coelomate bilaterian organisms. Pseudo-coelome means it is act like a coelome, but it is not a complete coelome. That's why it is calling as a pseudo-coelomate. The body wall and visceral organs in between the pseudo-coelome is present. That's why it is calling as a pseudo-coelomate organism. For example, here the diagram, it is calling as the ectodermal layer. Ectodermal layer, it is ectodermal, and this is calling as a endoderm. Ectoderm and endoderm, in between the layer is calling as a mesodermal layer. So here this mesodermal layer, small space is present. That is calling as a pseudo-coelome. That's why it is calling as a pseudo-coelomatic organisms. Mesodermal layer here forming, but it is not completely working. It acts like a pseudo-coelome. That's why we are considering pseudo-coelomatic organisms. Best example is the nematoda and rotifera. rotiferans. Here it is also invertebrates, rotiferans and nematoda. Here the pseudo-coelomates we are calling as a tube within a tube. One tube attaching another tube like structures are found here. That's why it is called tube within tube organisms. And next one, here the diffusion process is occurring of the what is that digestive system. The food is the food with the help of gut. Here visceral organs are not completely forming. It acts like, okay. That's why it is pseudo-coelomatic organisms. For example, digestive system, etc., kidneys, etc., and heart. These all are not forming into this pseudo-coelomatic organisms. It is not much more well-developed organism. And another one. This is the example of what is the example of Eucoelomates or nematoda. This is the diagram, right? It is called as the pseudo-coelom. Next one is called as a Eucoelomatic bilaterians. In this pseudo-coelomate, small what is the hydrostatic skeleton is forming. It is not completely working. It acts like hydrostatic skeleton. It allows the movement of visceral organs. Allows means moving of internal organs. For example, visceral layers are forming here. With the help of that, they are taking food material, etc. These all functions are doing with the help of what is that gut, right? So next one is calling as a true coelom, or it is calling as a eucoelomatic organism. The body wall and visceral organs in between the mesodermal layer is forming. That's why it is calling as a true coelom or eucoelomatic organisms. So this is the structure of the what is that eucoelomatic organisms. Here this is calling external side is calling as a ectodermal layer. This is the ectodermal layer, and internal side it is calling as a endodermal layer. In between mesodermal layer is formed here. So mesodermal layer is forming. So this is calling as a mesodermal layer. Now coming to the point. This is the ectodermal layer, it is the endodermal layer. In between the mesodermal layer is forming. In this mesodermal layer, this is the mesodermal layer. In this mesodermal layer, above small layer is forming. The layer is calling here parietal layer. And here, inner side of the small layer, thin layer is forming. This thin layer is calling as a what is that visceral layer. Parietal layer we are considering as a somatic fluid or somatic layer, and internal side visceral layers are forming. These visceral layers we are considering as a splanchnic layers. External side is called as a somatic layers or somatic fluid, and internal layer is called as a visceral layers, or it is also known as a splanchnic fluid is forming. Splanchnic layers, right? So here this is calling as a somatic mesodermal layer, and inner side here it is calling as a splanchnic mesodermal layer is forming. In this surrounding layer, small space is forming. This is calling what is the body cavity is calling as a eucoelomatic organisms or eucoelom forming. This is calling as a eucoelom. Here, small supporting tissue is forming here. This is small supporting rod-like structure. These are tissues are forming. These small rod-like structures we are calling as a mesenteries. What is the definition of mesentery? Mesentery is the double-layered peritoneum layer. Double-layered of the peritoneum. So here external side is calling as a body wall, and internal side here it is calling as visceral organs. The connecting tissue is forming here. It is calling as a mesenteries. So for example, some annelidans or some higher vertebrates at the ventral region or ventral side region above kidneys surrounding regions is calling as a parietal peritoneal layer. That is calling as a we are retroperitoneal layers. We are now considering as a retroperitoneal organs. Okay, so in vertebrates, this is calling as a kidney. Surrounding layers are forming. These layers is calling as a parietal peritoneal layers, or retroperitoneal organs are present in ventral side of vertebrates. Okay, so likewise, best example of the retroperitoneal organs, best example is the kidney. Okay, so This is about what is that eucoelomatic organisms. In this eucoelomatic organisms, the body wall and visceral organs. In the inner side of the visceral organs, internal side means visceral organs, muscular muscles are well developed. Well developed means these are lower vertebrates. Some little bit development here now starting here. Muscular tissue is forming or muscles tissue is forming. Blastocoel instead of the coelome is forming. That's why we are considering as a what is that eucoelomatic organism. So here when it is forming as a true coelomatic, we are calling as a secondary body cavity. Fluid substances is forming here eucoelom, that is calling, we are calling secondary body cavity is forming, muscular tissue is forming here. With the help of muscular tissue, they are doing all functions. All functions means with the help of that they taking nutrition and kidneys functions and small intestine, digestive systems, all functions with the help of what is that muscular tissue they are doing. Okay, so this is called as a eucoelomatic bilaterians, right? So thank you for watching my video. Thank you once again.